still live here from my basement where I built my company. Welcome to you. Today we have a special guest as a person that can help us integrating UiPath, Power Automate, Automation Anywhere, and Blue Prism. Hello, Goran, and welcome to the stream.
Hello, Anders. Hello, all.
Thanks a lot for joining. Can you tell us a little bit about why I have brought you here and a little bit about the person yourself?
Sure. So myself, Goran Malinovsky, I'm the CTO at Turbotic. In Turbotic, we are a scale-up that has been formed a bit more than 2 years ago. We've been actually building since the forming application that is called Turbotic Platform. And basically, I would like to show everybody how this platform actually can help companies to scale and also become self-driving, because that's our motto, and that's our goal why we formed the company in the first place, to help the company become self-driving.
And it's no secret that I contacted you because often I feel frustrating that I want to orchestrate different RPA platform, and that is exact possible with your tool, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Cool. And I put you to the ultimate test, as I told my viewers, because you're here to convince us that we should use Turbotic by demonstration. So we look very much forward to see this, Goran, both on the Discord and the LinkedIn. I received questions, which I will bring to you in the session. And if you viewers out there have a question to Goran or Turbotic, just place it in the chat. I'll make sure that Goran will receive it. Goran, the first question, that was from Juan Montero on LinkedIn. He says, please don't get me wrong, but look, how on earth would anyone really need to do that? Can you explain that in like 30 seconds?
Yeah, sure. So I understand Juan's point as well, and his viewpoint. And I'm coming as well from that kind of background where I've been working in companies where the primary goal is actually to limit the number of applications and limit the number of duplications. But now we have actually start seeing a different trend where actually it's more like use the application that actually provides the best benefit. So in this case means use multiple RPA platforms all together just to be able to see the most of each of them, and just not to stop there. It's not only RPA platforms, but it's also combining with other platforms like AI platforms, IDP platforms, and any technology basically that you have in your landscape. All those combined into one single view. That's why you should actually go for the platform.
And when I talked about orchestrating things, what other things can I do if you should say that, on a high level with Turbotic?
Yeah, basically how we have built and architected the platform is that it's multi-vendor, multi-technology, and multi-tenant supporting. So that means that you'll able to connect all technologies together and get real-time updates, recommendations, and notifications on how things are performing on the platform, and how you can improve actually all your technologies and underlying platform behind. So you are able to visualize at the end the return of investment that you have put early in the phase. And also track KPIs. And of course, we are not stopping where we are now. We are working towards the self-drivingness, which means the orchestration part will scale into next level, which is self-drivingness and self-learning, to be able to be fully autonomous.
Great. And while Goran will prepare his presentation that will come in 20 seconds, let me recap. This is Goran from Turbotic. He will show us how to integrate all the major RPA platforms. If you have any question, just post them in the chat. I'll make sure that you get them. And back to you, Goran. I look very much forward for this. So thanks a lot again for being here. And this is Goran's screen, by the way. You can see here in the background. So I'll bring some coffee, and then I'll lean back and I will see what you got for us, Goran. I'm looking very much forward.
Thank you, Anders. Okay. So starting with the platform. So what you're seeing now on my screen is actually how the platform looks like. And the platform is built on top on 5 modules, from idea through discovery, build, control, and value. And this is built in this way because this is how the platform will be able to help you with the whole your product lifecycle, from idea generation up to value generation. Each of these module has its own purpose, of course. Combining all the module together gives the most power of the using the platform, but it doesn't stop you to use any module like just by its own, if that's a requirement. So I will quickly just present you the idea for each module, and then we'll deep dive into the control part, which is the most interesting for this session. So the idea is a place where we see democratizing the idea generation throughout the company. So not to have only the top-down view, but also to include your bottom-up view from actually the people that are working with the problems, and they have the best ideas, but that they are not brought up. So democratizing the idea generation is our primary goal, why this module is been built in first place. And to even further support that one, this module is coming free of charge. So anybody in the company can use it without any additional charge or licensing. The next module is a discovery module, which follow up really with the flow from idea. So once the ideas are reviewed and are approved in a way, so they are seen as a good idea to be progressed further, investigate even deeper, then it's easily that you can just convert idea into a discovery. And the discovery, it's more like a project way of doing the things, right? You are creating a project and you are assigning a full project team that works with a bit deeper analyze on the project and building a business case that will then provide enough information and will back you up. It will back up the idea on why the stakeholders will give you actually the money. What are they getting from it? For that, we have built, of course, a flow. The flow is out of the box on best practices, but it's fully configurable based on customer demand.
And when you say we have built, was this your idea?
This is actually the idea behind the whole Turbotic. So our CEO has been actually working with not only with discovery, but with the whole kind of challenge that big companies that are actually multi-tenant and multi-vendor companies have today. One thing is kind of coordinating all the platforms into one view, and then also scaling up. We have seen a lot of companies that starting with automations, but they just hit a wall suddenly, and then there is no more ideas. There is no more things how they can, push this further. So by building this, we have decided to support those organizations to be able to easily move forward.
Great, Goran. And while you answered that perfectly, Joshua is joining. Hello, Joshua. How are you? Joshua asked which tools should he use along with UiPath, and if we bring this into Turbotic context, how many tools do you support by now, and do you plan to add more tools in the future?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good question. So currently, our primary focus is on the RPA line. So we are supporting the 4 major RPA vendors: UiPath, Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere, and Power Automate, out of the box plug and play functionalities. And then additionally, we are supporting ServiceNow and SharePoint integrations. ServiceNow is really tightly connected with the whole controlling part, where the tool automatically orchestrate ticket creation and generation based on your configuration. So you can automate the whole flow when things are not working accordingly, that tickets can be logged and the team can start right away working. And then additionally, we are supporting from AI, ML perspective technology. We have integration with Data EQ, but our team is working on the connecting with other technologies like low code and IDPs. And our idea is that long term we will have as many connections as possible, but those connections we are doing, you can say, on customer request. So the tool is architected in a way that any request for integration it's doable within a week's time. So 1 to 2 weeks is the average time of loading or connecting a new application into the tool. So the customer comes in, requests it, and then within 2 weeks he is up and running.
Cool, thank you, Goran. Now get it back to you, your demonstration.
Yes. So next on the list of modules is build. So the build is to follow up the standard continuation of the discovery, which means is you got now prove your business case, you got the money. Okay, now it's time to implement this and as soon as possible and push it into production. But of course, during the implementation, there is a lot of interest coming outside, especially from the stakeholders. When it will things be delivered? How are we doing? Are we stuck somewhere? Are we on target? And so on. And our tool at the moment provides the overview where you actually with your project and your deliveries. Are you following your roadmap that was defined before or not? And on top of that, we have added a flow to make sure that any project that is done in your company follows your kind of company policies and make sure that all projects are streamlined in the same way of implementing. You can say, in this case, I'm, for example, doing RPA project and I have several phases, like 7 phases. Each phase I need to do specific steps. So these 7 phases are by default then for all RPA projects for your company. And this is, of course, configurable. You can configure the phases. You can configure the parts of what teams need to do in the phases. But the whole purpose is, again, standardization and centralization. And then, of course, once everything is done, implemented, then it's handed over to the operational team. And now the trouble, you can say, starts. So this is our control module. You can see how it looks without any connections at the moment. So this is the empty module to start with, which most of all the new onboarded customers are starting with. So here is where we will do also the live demo. We'll connect the vendors, and I will show you as well how things are working, how you're getting the recommendations, how you're getting the value as well.
And Goran, I have a question from a private friend. He likes to stay anonymously, so we will not mention his name. But he asked, can I just use the control and maybe the value module of Turbotic? Do I need, can I do that as standalone, or do I need to use all the tools before I can use the control room?
Yes, definitely. So as I mentioned in the beginning, each of these modules, it's powerful. It's much powerful when it's used in combination with each other, but it's not limited. So you can use only control and value if you want. You can use only discovery, only build. It's all these modules kind of are possible to use separate.
Thanks a lot.
Yes. So now we'll deep into the actually connecting a vendor. So once I click in the connection of the vendor, I'm ending up into the integration apps. So this is a page where actually only administrators can have access, and this is a limited, like 1-2% of the whole company that will have such access. It's more technical knowledge, of course, required, and that's why it's not available, of course, to the whole organization. But here you can see the ones that we are providing out of the box, the 4 top RPAs, and we can start with configuring the UiPath first. But we'll go later on to the others as well. So as you can see, once you go into the UiPath connection, what we need to do first is integrate the platform with the UiPath, and all the integration are happening on an API level, which means you can add one or multiple tenants of UiPath And with that, you'll be able to see combined view of all your tenants that you have connected to. But I will start with adding one tenant for UiPath, and this is my private cloud tenant that I have created for this specific demo. So let's configure it. First is the UiPath URL, the standard one. Then based on where and how your application is being hosted, if it's the UiPath cloud or if it's on-prem, you can use different types of authentication. In this case, I'm using the UiPath cloud, so I'm using the client ID, and I need to provide the tenant ID, and then the client ID and the user key. So once that I provide, then I'm ready to go. So once I upload it, if the details are correctly, you will get this notification that the settings are updated correctly. If there is some problem with the connection, you will get the error and why is this error happening. So now we have set up the UiPath, and we are done with it. We are connected. So we can just go now back to the OS, to the platform, and we can go into the control. You see now right away, it shows completely different view now. We have connected RPA. If you connect other technologies, you'll have a per technology views as well. But from RPA perspective, you can see the overview, which is the top kind of the first landing page where each user will see the most important things happening. And these are the insights that we have. We have resources. These are basically the machines or the places where your robots or your automations are running. And then you can see errors and resources that are happening in the last 24 hours or throughout the time. So at the moment, I have set this up to this sync to run every 2 minutes, or I can sync it also manually, like from here. So while it's awaiting the sync, this is in the backend happening. So we'll give it a moment until the sync is done. So now it's running, and then you can see things start happening now. You're getting the insights that new robots, new processes been added to the application, and as they have been added, and this sync is completed, we can quickly go and check the processes. You can see 6 processes that I have here. I have added 2 queues. And then I have my 2 robots, one attendant, one unattended, and my resources as well connected together with the schedule that I have for schedules.
And to the viewers just joining here, this is Goran from Turbotic. He shows us how we can integrate UiPath, Automation Anywhere, Power Automate, and Blue Prism at the same place. Thanks a lot again for joining, Goran, and we are so happy to have you here.
Thank you, Anders. So now I will just, for cross-reference, I'll go back as well in parallel to the UiPath, and then just to see what we are seeing. Is it that it's the right thing, right? So we are going to the automation, so you can see my 6 processes. You can see I have 2 queues there added, and then you can see also if I go to the tenant, you can see my users, right?
Yeah.
So,
and Goran, I will bring you the questions as I receive them, because I think that will make an interesting session, and because you answer them so good. Tanya joined a little bit late, and she asks, and hello Tanya, thanks for joining. She asks, is there a plan to add more platforms? I know you covered that, but I think we should cover it once more.
Yes. So the plan is to add basically any platform that is available out to the market. But of course, there are limitations with prioritizations, with the amount of work, how much we can add at the same time, right? And that's why our approach, if you are interested to become a customer and you have a platform that you want to be added, just let us know, and then that addition, it's within weeks' time.
Cool, thank you. And back to the work.
Yes. Okay, so we are back to the work now. You can see also the resources as you are seeing, and my robots. So I will do now, once we have connected all the basic information, I will connect as well the assistant, so we can run some jobs and see how things are progressing. But before that, once this starts, let's see. Okay, now it started.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is now started. So before we starting any runs, what we need to do is first to decide what we would like to track, because we are fetching all the information, but not always customers want to start getting all the information or start tracking right away everything out from the scratch. So in this case, we need to specify which of our robots we would like to specifically track, and for that we have a simple tracker connection. And I will specify my attendant robot, because I will run from attendant automations, and then I'm putting the tracker where I want to deploy this one. So basically, it's a few seconds deployment, and once I have deployed it, you can see that from today I'm starting to track things. And similar happenings with the queues, but we'll connect the queues later on once we do the process first. So basically, from a tracking perspective now, we need to decide as well which of our processes we would like to track. And this tracking is actually not linked to a perspective that will collect the data, but this is more linked what we would like to see in the value from a process perspective. So what we will be able to track from this process. So I will set up a few of these processes for tracking. I will add this 5-second process, which is a process that lasts 5 seconds. We have a queue execution process. I have a process that adds a queue items as well, and a process that just generates an error out of the box. So this is all good. Now I'm set up to run it, and each run will be fetched. But if I want to fully track the value, I need to link here to a project. And this is where it comes that you can select your project that is been done. It's been done in the discovery as follow up the whole life cycle. Or if you want to just use the control and the value, you can create a fast track project. So the first one is the project that I showed you before, the live demo, which follows the whole life cycle from idea to build and then control. And the other two are fast track projects that I have created ahead of time, just for to not spend more time. But here I'm assigning which project I would like to track. And let's start tracking, for example, this 5-second project, and also we can track the error project. So once we add that the tracking, here we go to the app. So once that's committed, so we can see here the link actually with your project that you have decided to link to your automations. So we can find our fast track project, the 5 seconds that we have linked, and we can see which KPIs we have assigned to while this project was created. Those KPIs can be follow up from the project, or can be like created additionally. If you decide, for example, to build several automation as part of one project, you can combine all those and you can customize the KPIs per process. But what we need to do initially is to set up the tracking. What of those KPIs we would like to track, and I will set up all this for this. So I'm tracking in this case the jobs, and I'm saying that if each job that is executed, it actually saves me $10 every execution. And then also from a time perspective, it saves me 1.5 hours. So Once that's done, we are ready to go and run the process. So I will set this view and initiate the process. So the process is starting, and the sync I have set it up on 20 seconds. So you can see at the moment this is in running state. That's why it shows in the blue. And then as soon as it's completed, or after those 20 seconds pass, it will progress to completion or error or any other state. In this case, you see it's completed successfully. You can verify the completion, which date, when we have run it, and then you can even deep dive into the process, see some statistics about it. So this one has 2 completed. You have 6 seconds of average handling. You can see on which bot actually this has run, and so on. You can see the historical data. If you like, you can see the logs that has happened in between. So all the statistics regarding the process.
And a quick question, why did you start it from Assistant and not from Turbotic?
We have not yet added that level of starting from Turbotic. We had it before, but we have disconnected because we need first just to finalize the access. We don't want to allow access, of course, everybody to be able to start all the process, right? So once that process is done, we will be publishing that starting from Turbotic as well.
Cool.
Since we run the process, we can just quickly jump to the value, and this is where all the calculations happen for you. We have 2 processes there that we saw run. Each saved us $10, so $20 in total, and we have saved 1.5 hours per process, 3 hours in total. Then we can run also a process that is generating errors, for example, and then we will see that happening in real time. While this error is progressing, I will next configure the queues. So you can see now this is done. We got the error, and then you can see inside the process under the others if there are errors or runs, and then you can see the logs why this failed. Basically, the reason of the error, right? So now we would like to configure the queues in the same way. So I'm deciding to track this queue, and I'm throwing out to a watcher that takes care of the tracking. And once that's set, we are ready to. So I get automatically the queues that the queue items that I have in the system. But then I can add a few more with executing of this process that is adding queues. And this is adding a queues in a pending state, right? So you can see 3 more queues have been added. And then I have another process that actually picks up the pending queues and just progress it. It creates 1 completed, and then it also generates 2 different errors. One is business exception and application exception. So this is just to simulate different types. So you can see here we have now 1 completed. We can filter out. We can see 2 exceptions and 7 pending left. And then, of course, we can deep dive into the exceptions. You can see why it became exception. You can see it in different views as well from this perspective, or you can even deep dive, of course, as on other sites as well. You can see the completion, pending exceptions, and you can see even the details of each queue. So the inside part of it.
And Julian, thanks a lot for joining. Ask, so control module is mostly for monitoring for now, or could you set up schedules from there?
Well, as you can see, it's at the moment it's monitoring primarily, but also giving recommendation and insights. So this one, it's the error that we run, and it came up here. So we have run one error from a process perspective, and then there were 2 errors from a queue. So all they're locked together. And this is where you can additionally just apply to the integration with the ITSM tool like ServiceNow and convert this error into a ticket right away.
But I think what he asked, can we schedule processes to start, or is that also out of the question for now?
For the schedule, actually, our team is currently working on a functionality that will be released in next coming release, and this is a schedule orchestration, which will allow the users to create schedules from here, and not only to create schedules, but to create schedules cross platforms. So you can create a schedule that will start in UiPath and finish in Power Automate. So this is also the power of the platform, that if you start combining the best of breed together and use actually what they're the best in, like for example, use Power Automate for the 360 apps, maybe jobs, and then UiPath for SAP jobs or whatever, you can combine and build your flow end-to-end seamlessly, and then everything is orchestrated by the tool itself. So the tool finds out the best suitable place to run it. It takes in consideration your licenses, availability, other schedules. So basically offloads the whole operational task.
Cool, thank you for answering.
Yes, basically, yeah, that's from the UiPath perspective. I can as well quickly go and connect now other vendor like a Blue Prism. So the setup is similar, where we are creating the connection. In a Blue Prism case, depends on the vendor of Blue Prism. You might have an API connection, or on older versions, it's a direct DB connection. So you're choosing the version, and then on version 6.6 we have a DB connection, so which means we need the SQL thing. So once that's done, you get a notification for it. Then we can go back to the application, and we'll just wait for the syncing to finalize. So once the syncing is finalized, we will start seeing adding the processes getting added. Yeah, so this is now in waiting. So while it's in waiting, we can quickly configure the Automation Anywhere as well. So we don't need to wait later on. So I will do that. And we're supporting both the versions of 360 and Enterprise. For the Automation Anywhere, it's API driven. So it's important just to have a proper user with the access rights to the automations that you would like to orchestrate, and then everything else is handled by the platform. So I'm connecting this one as well. That's also successful. And now we can go back, and you can see we have already now loaded 18 more from Blue Prism tenant that I have loaded. I can quickly go here and can show you a bit on the Blue Prism. So we have these 18 processes there. And similar like we did with the other connections, we just need to go to the robots, find the robot that you would like to track. In this case, I will track these two, for example, and I will put it on the same tracker. And yep, those are now deployed for tracking. So whatever I run now, I will be able to visualize. So let's put these two. I have several machines there as well, so you can see which one is enabled, which one is disabled. So the status is also visible in the tool, and I will deploy this onto this specific tracker. So you will see now they are in pending state there. And if we go back to the process views, so once the fetch is then applied, we'll be able to see the pending coming in as well. So you see.
And I have a
Okay.
question more for you, Goran. Anju, he's a great friend of the channel and this whole community. Hello, Anju. Nice to have you here. He says most of the organization or customers want the automation to be built using a single RPA tool due to many reasons like costing, etc. So how can this tool be helpful for such people?
Yeah. Well, as I said in the beginning, I mean, this has two different viewpoints. One is you want to use one tool, but even using one tool, you might have organizations spread out throughout the world, right? And with that, you will need to do maybe separate instances of the same tool. So even if you're using UiPath, you might have tenants or one or multiple tenants. So the tool will support you to combine all tenants together and present to your management level what he want to see. Basically, he want to understand how your business works, not a specific tenant only. And then from the other perspective, we do see the trend that again, there are some tools complementing others, like Blue Prism users. They are primarily unattended. Now users want to start using more citizen development, so they are going toward Power Automate. In that case, you are by default ending up with two, Blue Prism and Power Automate, and and things will just grow as we see it. License will become cheaper, and usage of the platform will become bigger. So just being able to orchestrate that one will be a huge work.
And before we continue, I have a few more questions. That's so great. Thanks for all the questions out there. Tanya says, will this work with trial licenses?
Yes, this work with any license that you have with the tool. So it doesn't take actually the license view from that perspective. As long as with the specific license, you can execute the APIs available in the tool, you can use it.
Cool. And two more questions before we continue. One is from Anju and the other one is from Julian. Let's start with Anju. Also, what if UiPath stops the open API access? Will we be limited, and what other options will there be?
Yeah, that's a good question. And of course, the risk is there. And if the API support stops, then of course we need to change that to a different approach, similar like we're having for the Blue Prism, for example. In that case, we go direct database approach. So that's not an issue, but of course we are actually working with UiPath on day-by-day basis on each release, and not only with UiPath but with all our tech vendors. So we know ahead of time what are they planning, what are their versions, and if there needs some updates on the APIs or even on the connectors.
That's
so
cool.
If that happens, yeah, we can switch the connector from API to database or to some other that will be available. But I do see actually that the trend is going the other way, that more and more open APIs are coming. So every vendor are going to opening their APIs for usage.
Cool. And Julian asks, which kind of infrastructure is required to run Turbotic on-prem?
Yes, for running on-prem, it's a simple infrastructure. You just need a server, a machine, and then on that machine you need to just deploy Kubernetes. So once you deploy Kubernetes, the deployments happen automatically.
Cool. Thanks for answering, Goran. And back to you working.
Yes. So back to what I was showing for Blue Prism. So I have two processes that are impending. You can see which processes are then, when I have run it, and then they are in this state until I decide to move it, right? So if I'm going back to the Blue Prism and I start those two processes, one will be completed, one will be terminated. So this is what I will see on the platform. You see now those are gone, and then they converted into one error and then one completion. And then of course you can, like with everything else, you can deep dive, see your trends. You can see which resources are available, which robots have been running these processes. You can see the logs and so on. Yeah, in meantime, while I was demoing the Blue Prism, you can see also the application, the Automation Anywhere tenant has popped in. We have the data, the basic data in, and with that you can see all the data together. You can sort it by vendor. You can sort it by tracking. You can search a specific name, and so on. What is specific to Automation Anywhere versus the other vendors is that let me show you a bit on the tracking perspective. So for Automation Anywhere, on a bot level, we are tracking the actual users, and these are tightly linked to the bot runner licenses, right? So basically, by tracking the robots here, we are able to provide license utilization. So basically, users will be able to see how much they're utilizing specific licenses in Automation Anywhere. But the setup goes the same way. So I'm choosing the runner that I want to use. I'll in this case use this service account. I'm choosing the tracker where this is deployed, and then once that's done, we are set to go. So if in that case I switch to my Automation Anywhere, and so I got here disconnected due to timeout. So if I switch here, I can see my automations. There are quite few. That's also reflected in the tool. And then, yeah, let's run one bot. I have this bot, test bot that actually holds. It's running, so we can see the progressing. So I will run that bot, as I said, on this specific user. This is not limited, of course, to this kind of running, but you can set up to run on all, but then you need to turn on the tracking on all as well. And then you can use your pool, you can use a specific resource or what you want for the tracking. Now you can see this is in pending execution, and then the same would be reflected here once that is synced in 10 to 20 seconds.
Cool. And Goran, while we are at it, Shifu ask, hello Shifu and welcome to the stream. It's nice to have you here. Ask, session timeout comes under security testing. Do you know what he means here?
Session timeout on the, are we talking now about specific vendor or?
I think, Shifu, can you elaborate your question? Then I'll gladly bring it to Goran so we can answer it in a more detail. So, and Goran, I'm very curious because I see all this. How expensive is this?
From a license perspective, or?
Yeah. If I want this, because these things are like multiple vendors, it gives me headaches. So if I want to buy this, how much is it?
Yeah. So our licensing model is actually kind of pay as you grow. So basically, you start small, and then as you grow, we grow with you. So basically, we are charging per user and per number of processes that you're tracking. So if you want to use only the modules that doesn't include the control and the value, then per user setup should be enough for you to do the discovering the value and the build and idea. But if you want to use the control module, then it's based on the number of processes that you are actually tracking here. So if in this case, if I have 34 processes deployed, but I'm tracking only 4, so you're paying for 4 processes.
And you have an sorry for interrupting you. Just continue.
No problem. The charge starts from $30 per process and 40 per user, and then it goes down the more users and the more processes you're adding. So if you go above 100, this goes to around 15 as well.
Is that per month?
Per month, yes.
Cool. Thank you. Demin says, guys, thumbs up for the video. Thanks a lot, Demin, for watching. And a lot of people liking the stream, Goran. So again, thanks for being here. And your friend Api is in the chat. Do you know him?
Yes.
That's great. You work with him?
Yes, we work together.
And I'm a little bit curious because early on it says Denmark in your country. Are we sitting in the same country here?
No, actually I'm in Stockholm, Sweden.
Okay. It just said country Denmark in one of your dashboards, I think, or one of your settings.
I set that on purpose just for the demo, right? Since
okay.
demoing for Denmark, but basically on a process level, you can set up your country in whatever country if you have a dedicated per country process, and all that is visual later on. So you can track processes per country.
Cool. Yep. So it definitely see like a tool I would use, especially when you come up with the schedules. That sounds really awesome. Do you have a time estimate on that?
Time estimate is early August.
Early August. Cool.
Yes. And additionally to that, we are adding as we go some other more great functionalities like self-dashboarding, for example. And this is tightly linked to that. You'll be able to basically dashboard the whole control for yourself, for your needs, for your personality, for basically for your team. And on top of that one, from the value perspective, we do see that through the automation, you are processing a lot of data, right? And this data, you would eventually want to analyze it and present it in some visual way to your managers or to your top levels. And all that is applicable through our application as well, because as part of the connections, we'll be able to pull in those data, those logs and data, and you'll be then able to create your own custom dashboards on top of that one.
Cool, Goran. And Thomas asked from the Discord. He asked, "Is this mobile? Can I use this on mobile as well? Because I can see there's a browser as well. So can we use it from our phones?"
Yes. So basically, it's on our roadmap, but we have not prioritized it because first of all, it's usability. I mean, from a mobile perspective, what you want to see and what you want the user to do on a web is completely different use cases, right?
Yeah.
So for a mobile, maybe you want to get more like when alerts are happening, just for reaction perspective. But you would not want to go on a mobile and kind of go and add these fields one by one, right? Doing things. It's on a small screen, right? So it's on our roadmap, and we have it in the plan, but it's not been yet implemented, the mobile one.
Cool, thanks a lot. So this seems like a really good demo. We got great feedback in the chat as well, and it's it seems kind of easing operating in the system. What about the setup? Let's say that I'm not too technical. Will it be hard for me to set up? Is there any more that we saw today, like setting up the tenants in?
No. What we said is what it is. So basically, you can set it up tomorrow at your place with those the same action that I presented now.
That's cool, Goran. And James is here. Hello, James. And I think we have some more questions. Aren't you have a lot of great questions? Can the data also be transferred between different RPA tools connected here, or one RPA tool can start other directly from this tool? Do you understand the question?
The first part I didn't hear.
Can we transfer data between two RPA tools with this Turbotic?
Yes, exactly. So that's coming with the August release. So basically, with the scheduling, you'll be able to create your process kind of map in a way, and you can say from this process, if it errors, run this process. Maybe it's a cleanup process. If it completes it, pass through the outputs as an input to the next one, and the next one can be from any vendor, basically. So yeah, that will be possible in the coming release.
Cool. A. Sullivan says, thanks for the demo. Thank you, A. Sullivan, for watching. Go on, who is your typical customer?
Typical customers are, at the moment, enterprises that are kind of quite advanced in the automation or in the whole multi-tech landscape, but we do see trend with smaller or even with beginners in the automation that our tool is helping with scaling up, right? So they are starting with a few problems that they have today, but they have a trouble to scale up, because the more you scale, the more complex the landscape becomes, and our tool actually helps to lower the cost by lowering basically the need for people working on those specific applications.
Thanks for answering, and thanks for joining us here, Goran, and taking your time. It was awesome to see Turbotic live. That's always something that we love to see, the tools in action and not on presentation, and you kept the promise, so thanks a lot.
Yeah, really nice that I could join, and really good questions. Any other questions, of course, I'm able to answer, or if you are interested to know more, try it out, just reach out to me or Anders, and then we can connect.
That's cool, and you can find Turbotic, that is Turbo and TIC. You can just Google them, and that will take you to the product. And I think there's a link there is a link to reach Goran right below here, this video. And that was all from today. Thanks a lot for joining, to all you viewers out there. Great questions, great support. I hope to see you very soon in a live stream. Until then, bye-bye.
Thank you, Anders, for the organization. Bye all.
That's